Superfudge, Judy Blume's Chapter 8, Part 2. I waited until Halloween afternoon to call him. "It's me," I said. "I'm sorry." "About what?" he asked. "You know, about the price of your father's painting." "Oh, that. It just so happens that my parents are thinking about actually buying it." "Which one?" "You know, Anita's Anger." "Oh, that one. You should tell them to buy a different painting. And Anita's Anger, it's a ripoff. Even my father says so." "But you said..." "I know what I said." For a minute, neither of us spoke. Finally, I asked, "So, what are you doing for Halloween?" The usual," he said. "Nothing. How about you?" I'm taking Fudge trick-or-treating." "How'd you get roped into that?" I volunteered." "You volunteered?" I think he was chewing gum this time. "You weren't kidding when you said everything's changed." He was chewing gum. I could tell he was blowing a bubble, and I thought I'd heard the pop when the bubble broke. My mother and father were surprised when I told them I'd take Fudge trick-or-treating, but Alex said he'd come with me as long as he didn't have to walk next to Fudge, or hold his hand crossing streets, or anything gross like that. Besides, we planned to take him out early, bring him home, then go out by ourselves, and I knew how badly he wanted to go out with us, and not with Mom and Dad, like all the other kindergarten babies. Alex called for me at 6:30, and when I saw him, I couldn't believe it. He was wearing a costume. A sheet decorated with black circles and one red square. "I'm Anita's Anger," he said. "You like it?" He turned around a couple times, holding his arms out. "It's different," I said. "What are you?" he asked. "Me," I said. I was wearing jeans and a flannel shirt, the same clothes I'd worn to school that day. "He's a sixth grader," Fudge said. "And Tootsie's a baby, and Turtle's a dog, and Mummy's a mummy, and Daddy's a daddy. But I'm a scary, scary ghost." "Ooh," Fudge swooped across the room. "You mean you're not going to wear a costume?" Alex said. "Not even a mask?" "Sure I am," I said. "It's, upstairs. Wait a minute. I'll go get it." I raced up the stairs and found Mum changing Tootsie. "Where's Fudge's disguise?" I asked her. She looked blank. "You know, the one he sent away for. 4 cereal box tops and 25 cents. "Oh, that disguise," Mum said, sprinkling baby powder on Tootsie's backside. "I'm not sure. But, Mom, I need it right away. So please, try to remember." "I thought you said you weren't dressing up this year." "I changed my mind. And Alex is downstairs, waiting." "Let's see," Mum said, fastening Tootsie's clean diaper. "It could be in Fudgy's toys. He always liked that disguise. Look in his closet, in the red toy box." I ran down the hall to Fudge's room and threw open his closet door. The red toy box. Let's see, where? Oh, here it is." I dragged it out and rummaged through it. And there at the very bottom, in a Pepperidge Farm cookie box, were the black eyeglass rims attached to a rubber nose and the stick-on beard and mustache. I also found an old hat that once belonged to Grandfather Hatcher. I smoothed it out and put it on. Along with Fudge's disguise, I checked myself in the bathroom mirror, then ran downstairs. "That's mine!" Fudge hollered when he saw me. "I'm just borrowing it for a few hours." No. "No?" I said. "Okay, then you don't get to go trick-or-treating with me and Alex. You can go with Daddy, like all the other kindergarten babies. Goodbye." And I flung off the glasses and rubber nose, tossed them aside, and acted like I was really going to leave without him. "No," he cried. "Come back, Peter. Not unless I get to wear the disguise." "Okay, you can wear it, but it's still mine, right?" "Yeah, sure, it's still yours." I looked over at Alex, who was shaking his head. Alex still can't figure out my family. We grabbed our UNICEF boxes and our pillowcases to hold all of our loot, and then we left. We worked our way up one side of the street, then down the other. When we got close to Mrs. Muldor's house, Alex said, "Maybe she'll give us worms for a treat." "Worms?" Fudge said. "Yeah," Alex told him. "She's very big on worms." "So is Uncle Feather," Fudge said. "Uncle Feather's a bird," I said. "Why does everyone keep saying that?" Fudge asked. "I know Uncle Feather is a bird." He was quiet for a minute. Then he said, "What does she do with her worms?" "You know, she eats them," Alex said. "Really?" Fudge asked me. "We think so," I told him. We walked up the path to Mrs. Muldor's house, and Alex rang the bell. "If she gives us worms, we can feed them to Uncle Feather," Fudge whispered. "Shh," I told him. Mrs. Muldor opened the door. She was wearing a jogging suit. Well, she said. "What a cute little ghost." "I'm not cute. I'm scary," Fudge told her. Ooh, Mrs. Mulder clutched at her chest. Oh my, you are a scary ghost. Hi, Mrs. Mulder, Alex said. Hello, Alex. That's an unusual costume you're wearing. It's called Anita's Anger, Alex said. I got the idea from a painting I saw downtown. Mrs. Mulder turned away from us and called, Beverly, come here. You've got to see this. Right away, I knew it was her, Giraffe Neck. I knew before I could even see her face. I knew by the way she walked from the other room to the front door and by the curly hair. This is my daughter, Beverly, Mrs. Mulder said to us. Then she turned to Beverly and said, Alex is dressed as a painting. Can you guess which one? Beverly studied Alex for a minute. Well, with the white background, the black circles, and the red square, it must be Anita's Anger. Right, Alex said. I thought about telling Beverly about the night Jimmy's parents had their big fight and how Mrs. Fargo had dumped red paint on Mr. Fargo's canvas and how Mr. Fargo had named his painting Anita's Anger because Anita is Jimmy's mother. I thought about telling her the whole story, but then I remembered how I've told Jimmy things that I wouldn't want anyone else to be told. And I knew that if I were Jimmy, I wouldn't want my best friend telling the whole world the secrets about my family. Do you really eat worms? Fudge asked out of nowhere. I gave him a kick, but that didn't stop him. Peter says you eat them all the time, and he knows everything because he's naturally smart, except for matching questions. Mrs. Mulder and Beverly looked at each other. Fudge continued. So, did you? Did we what? Mrs. Mulder asked. Eat worms for supper tonight. Alex let out a groan, and I could see our business going right down the drain. Mrs. Mulder smiled at Fudge. Yes, we did, she told him. Beverly added, there's nothing like home-baked worms, and my mother's recipe is the best. We eat them instead of cauliflower, Mrs. Mulder said. We need to get our vitamins one way or another. Are your worms fortified? Fudge asked. Alice groaned again. My worms are naturally fortified, Mrs. Mulder said. They're chock full of vitamins. No preservatives, nothing added. Just the real thing. She was beginning to sound like a commercial for worms. I could hear the announcer saying, buy Miss Mulder's naturally fortified worms. They're chock full of vitamins. Grind them up in your favorite recipe. Blend them into your milkshakes. Serve them instead of cauliflower on those special occasions. Would you like to taste my special worm cookies? Mrs. Mulder asked Fudge. Yes, Fudge said, following Mrs. Mulder into the house. We marched through the house to the kitchen. On the counter was a big plate of cookies, fresh out of the oven, Miss Mulder said. They look like chocolate chips, Fudge said. They are, Mrs. Mulder told him. Chocolate chip worm cookies. Which part is worm? Fudge asked. Mrs. Mulder laughed. You can't see the worms. I grind them up and mix them into the flour. Just like my commercial, I thought. Go on, Mrs. Mulder said, offering the plate of cookies to Fudge. Take one. Fudge chose a cookie and held it to his lips, but he hesitated, and I could see that he wasn't sure he really wanted to taste a chocolate chip worm cookie after all. Beverly took one and shoved it into her mouth all at once. She said, these are really good, Mother. She took another one and ate it quickly. Then she brushed the crumbs off her hands. Fudge bit into this cookie. He chewed it up very slowly. It's good, he says. You can't even taste the worms. Mrs. Mulder offered the plate to Alex and me. We each took a cookie. Fudge asked if he could have another, and Mrs. Mulder said that she'd do better than that. She wrapped a little package of cookies for him to take with him. When we got home, Fudge dumped out his pillowcase on the dining room table. He arranged his loot in stacks and counted everything. 11 M&Ms, 7 Nestle Crunches, 5 Hershey's without almonds, 3 with, 2 Milky Ways, 1 granola bar, 4 apples, and 6 worm cookies. What did you say? Mom asked him. Nothing, Mom, I told her. He didn't say anything, did you, Fudge? Here, Mummy, Fudge said. Have a cookie. Mrs. Mulder just baked them. Thank you, Mum said. She tasted it. Very good. I wonder where she got her recipe. It's been in her family for a long time, I said. And they're naturally fortified with, I didn't even give him a chance to finish. No preservatives, no additives, naturally fortified, and chock full of vitamins. Right, Fudge? Right, Peter, he said, smiling, and I knew that he understood.